Not every tractor earned a place in the history books for the right reasons. Some machines broke down more than they broke ground. Others drained bank accounts faster than fuel tanks. Today, we're counting down 12 most hated tractors that faded into history, from engineering disasters to overhyped failures that tarnished legendary brands. These aren't celebrated classics. They're cautionary tales written in rust and regret. Number 12. Case IH 4690. Starting our countdown at number 12 is a machine that promised everything and delivered headaches. The Case IH 4690 arrived in the 1980s, wearing a badge that demanded respect, packing a 6-cylinder diesel generating 300 horsepower. On paper, this articulated giant should have dominated. In reality, it became a maintenance nightmare that drove more than a few farmers back to their old reliable iron. The 4690 represented Case IH's attempt to compete in the high-horsepower articulated tractor segment during an era when bigger meant better. The massive frame housed a turbocharged diesel engine designed to pull the widest implements across the biggest fields. Power flowed through a power shift transmission that promised on-the-go gear changes without interrupting workflow. Four-wheel drive delivered traction through massive rubber. Everything looked perfect in the sales brochure. Reality told a different story. The power shift transmission that seemed so advanced proved fragile under sustained heavy loads. Farmers reported frequent failures that left tractors stranded mid-field during critical planting or harvest windows. Repair costs spiraled as mechanics struggled with complex hydraulic circuits controlling shift quality. Parts availability became problematic as Case 1H dealers found themselves ordering components more frequently than anyone anticipated. The sheer weight and size created additional problems. This machine guzzled fuel like a freight locomotive, making operating costs prohibitive for many operations. The articulated steering required constant maintenance to prevent excessive wear in the pivot joint. Hydraulic systems developed leaks that proved difficult to trace through miles of hard lines and flexible hoses. By the time owners addressed one problem, another seemed to materialize. The 4690's reputation spread through farming communities like wildfire through dry wheat. Dealers found themselves unable to move inventory, as word-of-mouth warnings convinced potential buyers to look elsewhere. Case IH eventually discontinued the model, but not before damaging customer confidence in a way that took years to rebuild. Today, survivors are rare, most having been scrapped or cannibalized for parts to keep other machines running. Number 11. Allis-Chalmers D21. Moving up to number 11 sits an orange machine that should have cemented Allis-Chalmers' reputation, but instead tarnished it. The D21 arrived between 1963 and 1969 as the company's answer to the high-horsepower revolution sweeping American agriculture. With a 6-cylinder diesel generating 103 horsepower, this tractor targeted serious row crop operations that needed muscle. Allis-Chalmers engineered the D21 around proven components, or so they claimed. The 6-cylinder turbocharged diesel promised reliable power delivery across the operating range. An 8-speed transmission provided adequate gear selection for varying field conditions. Power steering reduced operator fatigue during long days. On the surface, everything suggested a winner. Beneath that orange paint lurked problems that revealed themselves with disturbing regularity. Reliability issues plagued the D21 from introduction. Engines developed problems that shouldn't have appeared on a design with Allis-Chalmers' experience. Transmissions proved less robust than the horsepower demanded. Hydraulic systems leaked and lost pressure at inopportune moments. Electrical gremlins frustrated owners and mechanics alike. The turbocharger system proved particularly troublesome, with seals failing prematurely and allowing oil to contaminate the intake system, resulting in blue smoke and reduced power output. Clutch assemblies wore faster than expected under the stress of 103 horses, requiring expensive replacements that frustrated farmers during critical work seasons. Final drive components in the rear axle showed excessive wear patterns that mechanics attributed to inadequate lubrication design in the differential housing. Fuel injection pumps developed timing issues that caused rough running and difficult cold starts, especially during winter months when reliability mattered most. The power steering system suffered from chronic leaks around the cylinder seals, leaving operators wrestling with heavy steering during long days in the field. Even routine maintenance proved more complicated than necessary, with poorly positioned filters and drain plugs that made simple oil changes and exercise in frustration and spilled fluids. Sales figures told a brutal truth. Despite competitive pricing and dealer enthusiasm, farmers avoided the D21 after early adopters reported their experiences. Production numbers never reached projections as Allis-Chalmers struggled to overcome the model's reputation. Warranty claims mounted, cutting into profits and straining dealer relationships. The company found itself supporting a product that damaged rather than enhanced its market position. The D21's failure represented more than just one bad model. It signaled deeper problems within Allis-Chalmers as competitors surged ahead with more reliable machinery. Farmers who'd trusted the orange paint for generations began looking at green, red, and blue alternatives. By the time production ended, the D21 had become a cautionary example rather than the flagship Allis-Chalmers intended. Today, collectors approach survivors with caution, knowing that restoration means addressing design flaws as much as age-related wear. Number 10. International Harvester, 1468. Hitting number 10 is a red machine that broke hearts as often as it broke soil. The International Harvester 1468 rolled out between 1971 and 1974 as IH's answer to demands for more power. With a V8 diesel generating 146 horsepower, this tractor promised the muscle farmers needed for increasingly larger equipment. Instead, it delivered fuel bills, overheating problems, and mechanical failures that left a legacy of regret. International Harvester bet big on V8 diesel technology when most competitors stuck with inline six-cylinder designs. The engineering rationale made sense. V configuration allows shorter engine length while maintaining displacement. Two banks of 4 cylinders promised smooth power delivery with excellent balance, turbocharging force-fed air into combustion chambers, extracting maximum energy from every drop of diesel. An 8-speed transmission routed power to the rear axle through a stout drivetrain. Reality proved far less rosy than projections. The V8 diesel consumed fuel at rates that shocked owners accustomed to more efficient inline engines. Operating costs spiraled as diesel prices climbed through the 1970s. Farmers discovered that impressive horsepower numbers meant nothing when fuel bills consumed profit margins. The 1468 earned a reputation as the tractor that could bankrupt a farm one tank at a time. Overheating plagued the V8 design from day one. The compact engine base struggled to dissipate heat generated by 14 cylinders, working hard under load. Radiators sized for conventional engines proved inadequate for the V8's thermal output. Coolant temperatures climbed into the danger zone during heavy pulling, forcing operators to back off or risk catastrophic engine damage. Hot summers turned the 1468 into a temperamental beast that refused to work when needed most. The V configuration's narrow cylinder bank angle restricted airflow between the banks, creating hotspots that conventional cooling systems couldn't adequately address. Thermostats failed with disturbing frequency as they cycled constantly between open and closed positions, trying to manage wildly fluctuating temperatures. Water pumps worked overtime against excessive system pressure, leading to premature bearing failures and coolant leaks from worn seals. The turbocharger's proximity to exhaust, manifolds on both cylinder banks, created additional heat that radiated throughout the engine compartment, overwhelming the cooling fan's capacity. Farmers discovered that even idling the tractor after heavy work wasn't enough to prevent heat soak, with components continuing to expand and warp from residual temperatures. Head gaskets blew with alarming regularity, as the combination of high cylinder pressures and excessive heat found the weakest points in the engine's sealing surfaces, leading to costly repairs that could sideline the tractor for days during harvest. Mechanical failures compounded the fuel and cooling problems. Components stressed by higher power outputs wore faster than expected. Transmissions developed issues. Rear ends required premature rebuilds. Hydraulic systems leaked. Electrical problems frustrated diagnosis. Each failure meant downtime during critical seasons when every hour counted. Warranty claims overwhelmed IH dealers as repair costs mounted. The 1468's reputation spread quickly through farming communities. Farmers compared horror stories at coffee shops and equipment auctions. International Harvester's legendary reliability took a hit from which it never fully recovered. Sales suffered as potential buyers chose competitors despite IH's sterling heritage. By the mid-70s, the 1468 had become a symbol of what happens when ambition exceeds execution. Today, survivors are scarce, most having been traded away by frustrated owners who swore never to repeat the mistake. Number 9. John Deere 4320. Breaking into single digits at number 9 is a green machine that arrived with fanfare and departed in silence. The John Deere 4320 lasted just 2 model years, 1971 and 72, before Deere quietly pulled the plug. With a 6-cylinder diesel generating 116 horsepower, this tractor should have slotted perfectly into Deere's lineup between smaller and larger models. Instead, it became an embarrassment the company preferred to forget. John Deere built its reputation on reliability, innovation, and customer satisfaction. By the 1970s, green tractors dominated American farms through superior engineering and unmatched dealer support. The 4320 arrived as part of the new generation lineup that revolutionized tractor design. A 6-cylinder diesel promised smooth power. Synchro-range transmission offered 8 forward speeds for versatile fieldwork. SoundGuard cab provided operator comfort. Everything suggested another Deere winner. Problems appeared almost immediately. Reliability complaints flooded Deere dealers, as early purchasers reported issues that shouldn't have existed on a John Deere product. The exact nature of the problems remains somewhat murky. Deere wasn't advertising its failures, but warranty claims spiked noticeably. Transmissions developed issues. Engines exhibited problems inconsistent with the Deere's usual quality standards. Hydraulic systems proved temperamental. Whatever the technical details, something was fundamentally wrong. Deere's response spoke volumes. Rather than continuing production while addressing problems, the company simply discontinued the 4320 after just 2 years. This wasn't normal model evolution. It was a quiet admission that the tractor didn't meet Deere's standards. The abrupt cancellation suggested problems serious enough to warrant cutting losses, rather than fixing and continuing. For a company proud of its products, this represented a stunning failure. The short production run means 4320 tractors are relatively rare today. Collectors view them with mixed feelings. Interesting for their brief existence, but problematic for their known issues. Parts availability suffers due to limited production numbers. Owners of survivors find themselves nursing machines that even John Deere wanted to forget. The 4320 stands as proof that even legendary manufacturers can stumble badly. Number 8, Ford NAA, Golden Jubilee. Rolling into position 8 is a machine that proves marketing hype can't overcome mediocre engineering. The Ford NAA Golden Jubilee celebrated Ford's 50th anniversary in the tractor business, with 1953 and 54 models wearing special gold trim. With a 4-cylinder gasoline engine generating 32 horsepower, this tractor represented Ford's attempt to modernize its aging lineup. Instead, it became remembered more for unfulfilled promises than actual capability. Ford hyped the Golden Jubilee as revolutionary. Special paint scheme with gold accents distinguished it from standard models. Marketing materials promised improvements over previous Fords. The 4-cylinder engine offered adequate power for its size. A 4-speed transmission provided basic gear selection. Live hydraulics and PTO represented genuine improvements over older Fords that required the tractor to be moving for hydraulics to function. On its own terms, the NAA was a decent small tractor. The problem wasn't what the Golden Jubilee was, it was what Ford claimed it to be. Anniversary edition marketing created expectations the tractor couldn't fulfill. Farmers expecting something special found themselves with a basic utility tractor wearing fancy paint. The hydraulics that Ford promoted as advanced proved weak compared to contemporary John Deere and international offerings. Lifting capacity disappointed operators accustomed to more robust systems. The system struggled with heavier implements that competitors handled easily. Performance proved adequate but uninspiring. 32 horsepower satisfied light-duty applications, but left farmers wanting more when conditions challenged the limits. The 4-speed transmission felt dated compared to competitors offering more gears and better spacing. Fuel economy was acceptable, but nothing to celebrate. Everything about the NAA screamed adequate, when anniversary editions should have screamed exceptional. Ford quickly replaced the Golden Jubilee with improved models, tacitly acknowledging the anniversary tractor's shortcomings. The brief production run suggests Ford realized the mistake and moved on. Collectors today value Golden Jubilees for their historical significance and attractive appearance, rather than capability or reliability. The special paint makes them display pieces more than working tractors. The Golden Jubilee taught Ford that gold trim can't compensate for weak hydraulics and modest performance. Number 7. Massey Ferguson 1100. Claiming position 7 sits a red machine that promised much and delivered frustration. The Massey Ferguson 1100 rolled through dealers between 1965 and 72 as the company's entry into the high-horsepower sweepstakes. With a 6-cylinder diesel generating 95 horsepower, this tractor targeted serious farming operations. Instead of capturing market share, it captured warranty claims and customer complaints that damaged Massey Ferguson's hard-earned reputation. Massey Ferguson engineered the 1100 around a turbocharged Perkins diesel, a respected engine family used successfully in other applications. Multi-power transmission promised on-the-go shifting through multiple ranges, giving operators fingertip control over speed and torque multiplication. Hydraulic systems provided power for implements. Four-wheel drive versions offered maximum traction. The package looked competitive against offerings from Deere, International, and Case. Transmission failures plagued the 1100 from introduction. The multi-power system that seemed so advanced in theory proved fragile in practice. Farmers reported failures that left tractors immobile in the field. Repair costs shocked owners, accustomed to reasonable maintenance expenses. Parts availability became problematic as Massey Ferguson dealers struggled to keep components in stock for repeated repairs. Each failure eroded confidence in both the tractor and the brand. Hydraulic problems compounded transmission woes. Systems developed leaks that mechanics struggled to locate and repair. Hydraulic pumps wore prematurely under sustained high-demand use. Control valves stuck or responded erratically. Farmers found themselves unable to operate implements reliably when hydraulics failed. The combination of transmission and hydraulic problems created a reliability nightmare. That word of mouth spread through farming communities. Massey Ferguson's reputation suffered lasting damage from the 1100's failures. Farmers who'd trusted red tractors for generations began shopping competitors. Dealers watched sales decline as potential customers chose alternatives with better track records. The company eventually improved the design, but initial problems created a stigma that persisted. Today, 1100 tractors remain relatively common. Many farmers kept them running despite problems, but few remember them fondly. They represent what happens when ambition exceeds engineering capability. Number 6. Case 310. Sliding into the top half at number 6 is a machine that arrived outdated and stayed that way. The Case 310 scratched its way through the 1950s as the company's offering for small farms. With a 4-cylinder gasoline engine generating approximately 30 horsepower, this tractor competed in a segment rapidly evolving beyond its capabilities. Poor design choices, inadequate power, and quick obsolescence made the 310 a forgettable footnote in Case's otherwise respected history. Case built its reputation on sturdy, reliable tractors that farmers could depend on season after season. The 310 attempted to bring Case engineering to smaller operations with limited budgets and modest acreage. A 4-cylinder gasoline engine provided basic power. 4-speed transmission offered fundamental gear selection. Mechanical systems kept complexity and costs down. Everything suggested a simple, honest tractor for basic farming. Underpowered describes the 310 politely. 30 horsepower proved barely adequate for the implements and conditions small farmers faced. The engine labored under loads that should have been manageable. Farmers found themselves working in lower gears to maintain momentum, slowing productivity. Fuel economy suffered as the engine worked harder to compensate for insufficient displacement. Operations that should have been straightforward became exercises in patience. Design compromises beyond the engine created additional problems. The 4-speed transmission lacked the range modern farming demanded. Hydraulics felt primitive compared to contemporary offerings from competitors. The operator station provided minimal comfort for long days. Build quality felt cheap relative to Case's reputation. Everything about the 310 suggested a tractor designed to a price point rather than a performance standard. Obsolescence arrived quickly. As competitors introduced more powerful, capable designs, the 310 looked increasingly dated. Farmers shopping for new equipment recognized the limitations immediately. Case dealers struggled to move inventory as better alternatives from John Deere, International, and Ford captured sales. The 310 faded from production without ceremony, unmourned except perhaps by accountants, happy to see it discontinued. Today, 310 tractors are uncommon. Many were worked to death and scrapped as worthless. Survivors attract little collector interest due to limited capability and unremarkable design. The 310 serves as a reminder that even established manufacturers can misjudge markets and produce forgettable products. Case recovered from the 310's failure, but the model itself faded into history with barely a trace. Number 5. Oliver 1800. Cracking the top 5 is a machine that betrayed Oliver's hard-won reputation for quality. The Oliver 1800 appeared during the 1960s as the company's entry into the growing row crop tractor market. With a 6-cylinder diesel generating 77 horsepower, this tractor targeted medium-sized operations needing reliable power. Instead of enhancing Oliver's standing, the 1800 introduced problems that eroded customer confidence just as the company faced increasing competitive pressure. Oliver had built legendary tractors respected for engineering excellence and durability. Green and white paint signaled quality that farmers could depend on. The 1800 continued that tradition on paper. A 6-cylinder diesel promised smooth, reliable power. 6-speed transmission provided gear selection for varying conditions. Hydraulic systems powered implements. Everything suggested another Oliver success story ready to be written. Hydraulic problems haunted the 1800 throughout its production run. Systems developed leaks that frustrated owners and mechanics. Pumps wore prematurely, reducing pressure and flow. Control valves proved troublesome, failing to maintain consistent implement control. The problems weren't universal. Some 1800s worked fine, but enough units exhibited issues to create a reputation problem Oliver didn't need. Build quality concerns extended beyond hydraulics. Components that should have been robust proved weak under sustained use. Farmers reported failures and excessive wear in areas that competitors handled better. The issues weren't catastrophic, but they were frustrating and expensive. Each problem chipped away at Oliver's reputation for building tractors that simply worked season after season without drama. Timing proved unfortunate for the 1800. Oliver faced increasing pressure from larger competitors with deeper pockets and broader dealer networks. The company needed flawless products to compete. Instead, the 1800 gave farmers reasons to shop elsewhere. Sales suffered, market share eroded. Oliver's eventual acquisition by other companies stemmed partly from losing customer confidence through products like the 1800. Today, Oliver 1800s survive in modest numbers. Collectors appreciate them for Oliver heritage more than exceptional capability. Restoring one means addressing known weak points and hoping previous owners maintain the machine properly. The 1800 represents a missed opportunity, a tractor that could have reinforced Oliver's reputation but instead contributed to the company's decline. Number 4. International Harvester 560. Reaching position 4 is a machine that inflicted lasting damage on one of agriculture's most respected names. The International Harvester 560 rolled out between 1958 and 63 as IH's replacement for aging models. With a 6-cylinder engine generating 66 horsepower in gasoline or diesel configurations, this tractor should have maintained International's leadership position. Instead, rear axle failures created a reputation crisis that took years to overcome. International Harvester dominated American agriculture through the 1950s. Red tractors symbolized reliability and innovation. Farmers trusted IH to deliver machines that worked hard season after season. The 560 arrived with high expectations as the next evolution in IH's respected lineup. A 6-cylinder engine offered smooth power delivery. 5-speed transmission provided adequate gear selection. Hydraulics powered implements. Everything suggested another IH winner. Rear axle failures destroyed those expectations with brutal efficiency. Early 560s developed problems in the final drive that caused catastrophic failures. Axle shafts broke. Differential components disintegrated. Rear ends that should have been bulletproof proved fragile under loads IH tractors traditionally handled easily. Tractors stopped dead in the field, leaving farmers stranded during critical work windows. The failure rate was high enough to create genuine panic among IH leadership. Warranty claims flooded dealers. Repair costs mounted. Farmers who'd been loyal to red tractors for generations questioned their allegiance. The problems weren't isolated cases. This was systemic failure, affecting large numbers of units. International's reputation for building dependable machines took direct hits it struggled to absorb. IH eventually addressed the problem through improved components and revised designs. Later 560s proved more reliable as engineering corrections took effect. But the damage was done. Farmers' memories of broken axles and abandoned fields persisted long after improvements fixed the technical problems. Sales suffered. Market share eroded. Competitors capitalized on IH's stumble, winning customers who might have bought red iron for decades. The 560's failure represented more than just engineering mistakes. It signaled deeper problems within International Harvester that eventually contributed to the company's decline. Farmers need tractors they can trust absolutely. When that trust breaks, rebuilding proves nearly impossible. Today, 560s survive in modest numbers. Early examples make collectors nervous. Later units with improved axles work acceptably, but the reputation never fully recovered. The 560 taught the industry that trust, once broken, may never fully heal. Number 3. Allis-Chalmers Model 190XT. Breaking into the metal positions at number 3 sits an orange machine that became synonymous with mechanical misery. The Allis-Chalmers Model 190XT appeared between 1964 and 71 as the company's high-horsepower offering. With a 6-cylinder diesel generating 93 horsepower, this tractor targeted serious farming operations. Instead of cementing Allis-Chalmers' position in the growing big tractor market, the 190XT earned a reputation for transmission and rear-end failures that drove customers toward competitors. Allis-Chalmers promoted the 190XT as their flagship row crop tractor. The turbocharged diesel promised strong pulling power across the operating range. Power Director transmission offered on-the-go shifting through multiple ranges. Four-wheel drive versions provided maximum traction. Hydraulic systems powered modern implements. The package looked competitive against offerings from Deere, International, and Massey Ferguson. Transmission problems appeared early and often. The Power Director system that seemed advanced in marketing materials proved fragile in field conditions. Farmers reported failures that left tractors immobile during critical planting and harvest windows. Clutch packs wore prematurely. Hydraulic circuits controlling shifts developed leaks and malfunctions. Each failure meant costly repairs and lost productivity. Word spread quickly through farming communities about orange tractors that couldn't stay running. Rear-end failures compounded transmission woes. Final drives proved inadequate for the power, and loads the 190XT generated. Axle components broke under stresses they should have handled easily. Differential assemblies required premature rebuilds. The failures weren't occasional bad luck. They were systemic problems affecting large numbers of tractors. Allis-Chalmers dealers found themselves overwhelmed with warranty claims and repair work. The combination of transmission and rear-end problems created a perfect storm that devastated Allis-Chalmers' reputation. Farmers who trusted orange iron for generations began shopping competitors. Sales plummeted as word-of-mouth warnings convinced potential buyers to avoid the 190XT. The company struggled to maintain market share as customer confidence evaporated. By the early 70s, the 190XT had become more liability than asset. Allis-Chalmers never fully recovered from the 190XT's failures. The company's eventual acquisition by other entities stemmed partly from losing customer trust through unreliable products. Today, 190XT tractors are relatively rare. Many were traded away by frustrated owners who swore never to buy orange again. Survivors make collectors nervous. Restoration means addressing known weak points and hoping for the best. The 190XT represents what happens when engineering ambition exceeds manufacturing capability and quality control. Number 2, John Deere 2010. Claiming runner-up honors is a green machine that stained Deere's sterling reputation. The John Deere 2010 appeared between 1960 and 65 as the company's offering in the row crop utility segment. With a 4-cylinder engine generating 46 horsepower in gasoline or diesel configurations, this tractor targeted medium-sized operations. Instead of upholding Deere's legendary standards, the 2010 earned recognition as possibly the worst tractor John Deere ever built. John Deere had earned unmatched customer loyalty through reliability and innovation. Green tractors symbolized quality that farmers could stake their livelihoods upon. The 2010 arrived as Deere transitioned from 2-cylinder to multi-cylinder designs. A 4-cylinder engine promised modern performance. 8-speed transmission provided gear selection. Hydraulic systems powered implements. Everything suggested Deere's typical excellence. Reality shattered those expectations brutally. Weak hydraulics plagued the 2010 from introduction. The belly-mounted hydraulic pump proved problematic to access and prone to failure. When hydraulics quit, and they quit often, repairs required extensive teardown. Parts proved scarce, even when the tractors were relatively new. Farmers found themselves unable to operate implements reliably as hydraulic pressure faded or disappeared entirely. The problems were widespread enough to create genuine embarrassment for Deere. Engine design issues compounded hydraulic nightmares. The 4-cylinder power plant exhibited problems inconsistent with Deere's reputation. Poor performance under load frustrated operators. Reliability proved spotty at best. Components wore prematurely. The engine that should have been the 2010's strength became another liability. Farmers accustomed to Deere dependability found themselves nursing machines that belonged in the shop more than the field. The hydraulic pump location earned special hatred from mechanics and owners alike. Accessing the belly-mounted pump required removing multiple components and working in awkward positions. Repairs that should have taken hours stretched into days. Costs spiraled as labor charges mounted. Mechanics learned creative profanity while wrestling with 2010 hydraulics. The design choice represented engineering malpractice that someone at Deere should have prevented. John Deere quietly discontinued the 2010 and pretended it never existed. The company's subsequent models returned to typical Deere quality standards. Farmers who'd experienced 2010 problems remembered. Some switched to competitors. Others stayed with Deere but remained wary. Today, 2010 tractors are uncommon. Many were traded away by frustrated owners. Survivors attract little collector interest beyond curiosity about Deere's biggest failure. The 2010 proved even legendary manufacturers can stumble badly when design choices go wrong. Number 1. Ford 6000. Taking dubious top honors is a machine that forced Ford into an unprecedented recall. The Ford 6000 appeared in 1961, wearing attractive styling and promising advanced technology. With a 6-cylinder diesel generating 66 horsepower, this tractor represented Ford's attempt to compete in the growing high-horsepower market. Instead, select low-speed transmission failures created such widespread problems that Ford recalled every unit, an unheard-of admission of catastrophic failure. Ford promoted the 6000 as revolutionary. Sleek styling with distinctive cast-iron grille created striking appearance. Red and cream paint schemes stood out. The 6-cylinder diesel offered smooth power from either 223 cubic-inch gasoline or 242 cubic-inch diesel configurations, running at 2,400 revolutions per minute. Closed-center hydraulics operated at pressures reaching 2,250 pounds per square inch. Everything looked advanced. The Select O-Speed PowerShift transmission was supposed to be the 6000's killer feature. This 10-speed unit allowed shifting on the fly without clutching, revolutionary for the era. Ford had introduced the system on smaller tractors in 1959 with reasonable success. Scaling it up for the 6000's power seemed logical. Marketing materials emphasized the transmission's sophistication and convenience. Farmers envisioned effortless shifting during corn-picking competitions, where the 6000 would eventually win 5 of 6 national titles. Reality proved nightmarish. The Select O-Speed transmission couldn't handle the engine's 66 horsepower under sustained heavy use. Bands slipped and burned. Hydraulic circuits controlling shifts developed problems. The transmission would jerk noticeably, shifting between 4th and 5th gears. Failures occurred with alarming frequency, leaving farmers stranded with expensive repairs. The problems appeared so quickly after introduction that Ford faced genuine crisis. In an absolutely unprecedented move, Ford recalled every 6000 tractor and completely rebuilt them. The company re-engineered problem areas, replaced failed components, and updated systems. Rather than simply fixing issues, Ford detuned the engine to 62 horsepower, reducing power to match transmission limitations. The rebuilt tractors received new blue and white paint scheme and commander badges, distancing them from the original failures. The recall and rebuild represented massive financial losses and devastating embarrassment. Even rebuilt commanders suffered issues. The transmission remained problematic, though improved. Farmers discovered servicing challenges, including fan belts that wrapped around hydraulic pump drive shafts, a design choice that frustrated mechanics. Top speeds varied unpredictably between gasoline and diesel versions. The tractors earned reputation as fuel efficient due to operating at lower engine speeds, but that couldn't overcome reliability concerns. Parts availability declined quickly as Ford stopped supporting the troublesome design. The 6000 disaster permanently damaged Ford's position in the tractor market. Farmers lost faith in Ford's engineering capabilities. Competitors capitalized ruthlessly on Ford's stumble, winning customers who might have remained loyal for decades. The timing proved particularly unfortunate. John Deere introduced the revolutionary 4010 just as the 6000 faltered, giving farmers a reliable alternative with more power and better dealer support. Ford never recovered the market position it held before the 6000 debacle. Today, 6000 and Commander tractors are rare. Most were scrapped or abandoned by owners eager to forget the experience. Collectors view survivors with mixed fascination and trepidation. Interesting for their historical significance, but problematic for their known issues. The Select O-Speed transmission remains maintenance-intensive with scarce parts. The 6000 stands as agriculture's greatest engineering disaster, a cautionary tale about rushing innovative technology to market before thoroughly testing and validating designs. Ford learned expensive lessons about the cost of failure in an industry where reputation means everything. These 12 tractors prove that heritage and reputation can't protect manufacturers from the consequences of poor engineering. Some arrived underpowered for their era. Others broke down faster than they broke ground. A few inflicted damage from which legendary brands never fully recovered. But every single one taught the industry crucial lessons about quality, testing, and the unforgiving nature of farmers who stake their livelihoods on machinery that absolutely must work. Which of these failures would you have avoided? Drop your answer in the comments. And if you love stories from agriculture's checkered history, hit subscribe for more tales of the machines we'd rather forget.